Touch early, as he so often does. Selwood and Cripps, the two bulls collided. Pitternet to Murphy. Spears it, lace out to Eddie.
Gee, that's a perfect start. That's the sort of ball use you want. A couple of players getting over to Mark Pitternet. He got involved in the play, but he didn't panic. He realised the best option was just to shoot a hand pass to the waiting hands of Mark Murphy. Let the good kickers kick the footy.
And this was a great kick because he didn't try and break his rib cage. He just waited and let him run onto it.
One of the star goal kickers of the competition through his entire career. And he's nailed a big-time goal there. Eddie Betts. Hoping under pressure with slow starts. That's exactly the start they were after.
Yeah, that was brilliant. The best way to kick goals at this ground is the easiest way is to get it straight out of the middle of the ground, and you can just see the seas open up here. They get forward to the ball. The Cats have lost their sweeper, and Eddie just charged up the ground, getting off his man for the perfect start. Well done to all those players involved. It was Walsh, it was Cripps going head-to-head with Selwood. He was the one actually who knocked it forward, got the first contested ball going their way, and there's the space. You can't defend that. Came off a Reece Stanley win in the hit, but it was well guarded, well sharked by the Blues, who kept the ball in and kept it going all their way.
So Hawkins doing the ruck work in the back pocket. Pitternet with him. It was good last week. Down to Jack Stephen. Handball not so good. Turned it over. Cunningham. Gibbons, Murphy, kickable, needs to strike it well, struck it beautifully. 2-0 start for the Blues.
And 2 goals from clearances, one from the centre clearance at the start of the play, and this one from a forward stoppage, which Chris Scott would not be overly thrilled about. They had it, and they just coughed it up. Bit of first game nerves for Jack Stephen. And then it was really, you can't defend that sort of mistake. It just came off the inside of the fist, and the Blues just handball backwards, got the chain going. Mark Murphy on the end of it. Really, they won the tap. They hit it straight to Stephen, so it was a hit out to disadvantage. It should have been, but the turnover with the handball was costly.
He does look nervous, Jack Stephen.
Yeah. Listen, Wienering in some space. Casbolt got there, good hands.
Big fan
make
of
it
this
3-0.
He has. He's been one of the most improved players over the last 2 to 3 years in the game. His kicking has improved dramatically, Jason. He's a great mark. He's just become a fantastic servant of this footy club.
Copped a little bit of attention from Reece Stanley after the mark too. Happy to try and ride him into the ground. Didn't give away the 50.
He's kicked 135 goals, 99. So that figure has improved. You're right, Gerard, over the last couple of years. Struck this okay, struck that as good as you can strike it. 3-0.
So if you're a Blues supporter sitting at home and you're watching this, you've wanted to see effort, but it's also the reward for effort they're now getting. So there's no point getting a good start if you're not doing damage on the scoreboard.
Yep.
They've done that now. They've kicked the first 3 goals of the game, and the game's flowing their way. The issue now is how long can they maintain this intensity for?
Well, I think what you're seeing is effort, but you're also seeing method. You know, they are winning clearances. They're resetting their forward line, as David has said, and they're taking their opportunities and just getting back to the kicking improvement of the Bolt. You know, he was given up on as a player. He was on the market, and probably, I think it was an opportunity for clubs to get themselves a really strong power forward, but there wasn't a big enough taker, and he has reconsidered his position. He's taken advice from kicking coaches, etc., and he actually hits darts around the ground now. He's really an amazing improving player.
The Simpson Blues are on fire here. Little wobbler towards Eddie Betts. Half volley wasn't quite there, but he kept it in front, Eddie. Kept it rolling and still attacks it. No free. Narkle, Selwood, Narkle. Back to Dangerfield. Drop step was good, handball was terrible, and McGovern might make him pay. He does! 4-0.
How's the difference in pressure?
Unbelievable.
This is amazing. We've seen a number of teams over the last couple of weeks get belted one week or play ordinary one week and then have a complete attitude readjustment the following week. And that's exactly what we're seeing here.
Well, the Bulldogs did it. The Hawks did it in this particular round. And right now we're seeing the Blues produce a fantastic first quarter. And who knows, this quarter may be enough to set them up for their first win of the year.
Look at the fumbles and how quickly they have to try and get rid of the ball because they're getting closed down. And most importantly, capitalising. Eddie Betts' attack on the footy was brilliant. He was 1 against 3 or 4. Kept it alive for the Blues. And then it was just the pressure.
So Radaglia into the middle of the ground for his first jump at a centre bounce. Well, he's unopposed. He's got a really good block by his teammate Casbolt.
High leap from Stewart, but he let it get over the back. Nunes attack, Silvani bends it back, Myers, goal square, Williamson, he might get one back, gave it to Betts, got it. He gave one up at the one end, but he got them one back at the other one, Williamson. And Eddie's got a couple.
He'll feel a lot better about that, Twain. I reckon he would have been feeling pretty low, pretty disappointed with himself, gifting Geelong their first goal at the other end. But it's the effort to come in here. Look at the attack of the Blues. Absolutely brilliant to get to the ball first, to keep it alive. And then Brian Myers is a little panicky under the ball.
He didn't take it on his chest or in his hands.
Unfamiliar position for him, Jared, when you're in the defensive goal square. Did well to get the arm free, Williamson, to get the hand pass out.
Hamwood inside, hoping for Atkins, but he missed him. Gibbons read it well. Petrevski-Seton, Setterfield, Cripps, Walsh. Has McGovern out wide, needs to be a good kick. Great hands.
And another opportunity for a turnover goal. They controlled that ball Geelong. They gave it back to Carlton, and on the rebound, the forward line the back line is under enormous pressure from the Cats because the ball just came in really quickly, but it really needed a top mark. And this was a 50-50 ball. He'd be thrilled with his opening couple of quarters.
He needs this for his confidence, though. He's only had the one touch, McGovern. Good mark there, good contested mark. Kick the goal, get yourself up and about.
Right around now. Your feet. Yep.
Big kick for momentum as well. Outstanding. Equal to the pressure. And they get a nerve settler, the Blues.
You know what, Jared, it's a very good kicking style for goal. He runs very straight, kicks through the ball. It doesn't bend one way or the other. Keeps everything perfectly in line.
Well, it's pretty simple, I reckon, for McGovern. And he's had a fair bit of exposure this week, so he'd be really keen to make a mark. But if he holds these marks, and these are tough marks, but he gets his hands on a lot of marks.
Yep.
And they fall out. But when he's at his best, he's clunking those, and that was under enormous pressure. As you said, Jason, he's a beautiful skill.
Weight through the kick, yeah, you got to like that.
But you've got to get the ball in your hands. And, you know, that was only a 50-50. That was a great contested mark.
That was a great slow-motion replay of the kicking action side on. You could see how the weight was forward over the ball. Still got the complete follow-through through the kick. Really good technically.
Stay out, Tom, stay with him, thank you.
Straight down the spine, no one manning up on Pittonet. Hands it to Martin. Lace out the Mackay.
I don't care what you say. You've got to get the right people kicking the ball in this game. It makes such a difference. Cripps saw Pittonet in a little pocket of space, straight down the middle of the ground. And again, when Pittonet went to hand pass in the first term, it was Mark Murphy. This time it's Jack Martin. They're the right people to be distributing the footy.
He put a bow on that. Can Mackay finish the deal? Looks pretty good. Goal umpire did not move. 2 in a row to the Blues.
Well, this is exciting, Jared. Long-suffering Blues fans. They haven't had a lot to cheer about for a number of years. But when it looked like Geelong were about to get back in the game, they kicked the first 2 goals of this quarter. They've answered. Have a look at the kick. You couldn't have put it in a better spot. Absolutely brilliant. Jack Martin, beautiful use of the footy. You can see why they were so keen to get him.
Well, centre clearances are really important if you can turn them into goals. I know King will be able to give us the scores from centre clearances when we get back down to him, but at the moment it's 5-4, so it's pretty even split, but Carlton are getting goals and scores from their clearances.
Pick 61 back in 2016. Mackay stays down, lets McGovern go for it. McGovern looks up, pops the pass, Casbolt lace out with a bow on that.
Gee, that's a good kick. He looked quickly, McGovern. And it was Henry was the opponent for Casbolt. And Casbolt was pushing back on him, almost facing his own goals. And then came back on the lead and he just chipped it into space.
That's the one that Stanley has to hit the deck. It's just got to go to ground. And he didn't make the contest, and the coach will want to know why.
Hold him, Mark.
Been kicking well, and the Blues have all the answers so far.
Well, given the conditions, Jason, this has been an amazing effort for contested marking inside the forward line. There's been 2 or 3 players that are sharing the load, but here's a terrific mark from McGovern. And we know Casbolt's always been a great mark, but he's added good goal kicking and good field kicking to his game. So they've got Mackay as well, who can also present. But right now, McGovern is making a mark on this game, albeit with only a few possessions. 3 contested marks, 3 shots, or 3 kicks at 100%, and he's kicked a couple of goals himself.
He thumps it. Pitternet stands under it. Stanley with a big fist. Eddie Betts waited for the crumb, and he got it. Tried to mesmerise them. He got it to Cripps. And this is a huge kick for the Blues and for Cripps.
Mark, I'm going. Okay, take Paddy. Guys, leave him. Paddy.
50.
Paddy.
Yeah, it is 50. It is.
Touch it. Been paid, get out. Been paid.
And I like this. Look, a couple of Carlton players came in and got in his face, but they didn't start to push and shove or do anything that might reverse the free kick.
Takes the pressure off Cripps, who kicked 1 goal 2 last week. Mr. Key shot in the last quarter, and he will put this through and give the Blues their biggest lead of the game in the shadows of half-time. Normally about a 5-step run-up and then a little couple of stutter steps. In he comes. And he drives it home. 29 points to margin with 30 seconds left to the half.
Well, started back on the defensive side of the wing, a 1-on-1 contest between Wiedering and Hawkins. Tommy Hawkins thought he'd taken the contested mark.
Yeah, he had 2 hands in the back, though.
You're allowed to touch the back. All he did was hold him there. He didn't actually push him out.
Well, the coach doesn't like it.
I think that's a clear mark, personally. And I think this is a clever kick. He sees him late, Eddie Betts. He's just about to throw it on the boot, then he sees him. And that's not much in that for a 50 either.
What's interesting, Jason, is the amount of scores that Carlton have got. 9 goals in a shortened half of football. It's a huge score.
He read that really well, Blitzarves. He took off before he got there, but here's an opportunity.
And they are out. Eddie Betts is off and running. Silvani sees him. Eddie's got to be good here with the kick to Murphy. How good is that? That is as good as it gets.
That's one of the best kicks you will ever see on the left foot. That was brilliant.
But they just opened up the defence. The ball was up the ground, and on the rebound, on the charge, they found the open space, and it was on the back of an exceptional kick, as you both said.
271 games now, Mark Murphy. Experienced senior campaigner. And squeezes it in. And the Cats at home in a 35-point hole.
Well, they did the right thing, the senior players. They got the ball out of the centre. They got it long into deep into their forward line. And then the Blues responded, got it back, and then there's a turnover. And on turnovers, they have been slaughtered tonight. Unfashionable turnovers. You can't defend them, particularly when you get space like that and pinpoint passes.
You've got to understand the quality of this kick. That's his opposite foot. There are 3 Geelong players, one to the right of the screen, who just couldn't get there. Murphy was sort of in the middle of them. He had to weigh that kick perfectly.
Yep.
No wonder they're excited. That is the perfect start again.
Hold grind, go closer.
Casbolt now feeding as the leading target. It's in his direction, and he's got it.
I mean, they are just spreading the
Right on.
To Eddie. Thought about it. Thinks about it. The dodge step, the drop step, the kick. Cripps. Wow.
Gary, just in.
They are just slicing and dicing at the present time at will. And Chris Scott is looking for a spark, but there's none coming.
Wait for the play on call, Tom. Then go on. Tom, hold, wait.
They've kicked the last 3 goals of this game, the Blues. Opens up the angle. Make that 4 in a row. 42 points, the margin.
Well, it's difficult to stop momentum at the best of times, but here's the Martin dispossession. It was just, he just kept his eye on the ball. Ball ricocheted off, and they just chopped the ball from one side of the ground or into the middle, then back out to the other side. And Casbolder's just been a pillar of strength. Eddie's actually having fun. Eddie's now playing tricks. He's actually got a good game under his belt. The Blues are well on top in this game. They've just about got the 4 points, and Eddie's going to put on a show. So don't turn over. The Eddie show has arrived again in football.
He got lucky in the end, Jared. He was nearly too smart by half, and it ended up with Paddy Cripps.
Great pass to Paddy. All working for the Blues.
Run, couldn't. Walsh slips the tackle by Selwood, and that's tough to do. Ed Curnow, Patrick Cripps, got the free man wide. McGovern needs to hit a target. Heads long. Eddie's out the back all alone. Eddie Betts looks up. He's got Gibbons. And he wraps it up and gives him the gift. Could have gone for home himself, Eddie. But Gibbons to kick one against the flow.
They did it well.
He nails the goal and settles everything down for Carlton fans.
Gee, they needed it, Jared. They needed it. They won the ball at half-back. Importantly, managed to keep the ball on the far side of the ground. I couldn't believe it when I looked up and saw 2 Carlton players
forward of the ball.
Forward of the last Geelong defender. It was just a matter of when they could get a clean possession to settle and kick long into the forward line.
Well, this was the important ball.
Yeah.
It was really well won by a couple of players, Curnow and Sam Walsh,
Yep.
and then this is a good handball. This is what set up the goal. The long, wide handball into space, found Eddie, and then Eddie did the rest. Could have gone for goal himself, but smart play, just chipped it along.
Eddie's the #1 goal assist player in the history of the stat. So Eddie Betts, #1. He's given away more direct goals than any other player that's ever played the game. Puma Harvey led that stat for a while. Eddie's #1 on the list now.